Shit. If I'm shining, everybody gonna shine. I was born like this, don't even gotta try. I like shot a nigga better over time. Heard you say I'm not the baddest bitch you like. It ain't my fault that I'm out here getting loose. Gotta blame it on the goose. Gotta blame it on my juice, baby. It ain't my fault that I'm out here making news. I'm the put it in the proof. Gotta blame it on my juice. Yeah, 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 yeah. Blame it on my juice. Blame it on my juice. Yeah, 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 yeah. Blame it on my juice. Blame it on my juice. Okay. Somebody come get this man. I think he got lost in my DMs. What? My DMs. What? You better come get your man. I think he wanna be way more than friends. What? More than friends. What you want me to say? It ain't my fault that I'm out here getting loose. Gotta blame it on the goose. Gotta blame it on my juice.
All right. Hey, people. Happy Sunday. It is September the 22nd. Thank you guys for being patient with me. I have been all over the world and traveling, seeing the world, and it's been incredibly amazing. For some of you who know, I've been to Africa, Peru this summer. So, anyways, I'm back in the studio. I'm trying to be focused as much as possible. But anyways, I'm going to jump into tonight's topic because I don't want to be long-winded. I want to be respectful of your time. So welcome to the Nurse Doc Show. For those of you who tune in on regularly, I try to do this on every other Sunday along with the Nurses Talk Show. But sometimes things just happen and life happens. So I can't be present. But I'm here today and we are here today. So I hope you're having a beautiful week. Tonight we are talking about actually a very interesting topic to me. If you watched the Nurses Talk Show a few weeks ago, you probably noticed a weird look on my face because I didn't know how big of a deal it was. I have friends, I have colleagues who vape and use e-cigarettes. And I was quite startled about the information that I learned. So anyways, like I said, for those of you who tune into the show regularly, then you know what comes next. My intro promo. For those of you who don't know, enjoy the promo and we'll be back. Will correct itself. So we are streaming live tonight for the first time from Instagram, along with Facebook, YouTube, as well as Periscope and Twitter. And if you tune into things like Scruff, Grinder, whatever, I'm not there, but you may be able to get some comments. Anyways, so tonight we have on my brother, Larider Ruffin, who's going to be talking about this epidemic with vaping. And let me bring up a picture of Dr. Ruffin. So this is a very accomplished brother. I'm actually very proud of what he's done over the course of his life. So Dr. Ruffin is an assistant professor of nursing at Stockton University in New Jersey. He's the president and CEO of Reverence Discount Pharmacy, field nurse practitioner at Clover Health, and certified tobacco treatment specialist. So For those of you who know me, this brother is definitely on the same lines of doing way too many phenomenal things. He earned a BS in nursing from Rutgers University, a MS in adult and gerontology and primary care nursing from the University of Medicine and Dentistry in New Jersey, tobacco treatment specialization from UMDNJ, and he earned his DNP, which is a Doctor of Nursing Practice, from Wilmington University. He is a board certified adult nurse practitioner, board certified tobacco treatment specialist, and after 8 years of practice as an adult nurse practitioner, Dr. Ruffin proceeded to become a certified adult gerontology primary care nurse practitioner. He serves as the chair of the Graduate Nursing Curriculum Committee, and he is a faculty senator at Stockton University. He's the immediate past president of Northern New Jersey Black Nurses Association. During his tenure as president, Dr. Ruffin energized the organization and received 3 national awards from NBNA relative to his leadership and program outcomes in 2017. He has done phenomenal things. And another reason why I chose him, not because he just has all these amazing credentials after his name, but the second part is because recently the National Black Nurses put out a memo about vaping and e-cigarettes and the dangers that it presents. And in this day and age, I'm quite impressed about associations and organizations that's willing to take a stance. For those who have watched some, they know that I think that one of the biggest issues with associations is they're so afraid to piss people off because they want to appease to everybody, to keep their 2 or 3 members, like say for instance gun violence, because they don't want to offend their people who carry guns, but they kill kids. Anyways, that's a long story short. Let me bring on this brother because he has kids, he has work to do, and way too much going on for me to just be keeping him on hold. All right, here we go. Dr. Ruffin.
Ah, Dr. Willis, how are you?
I am great. I am great. I apologize about keeping you on hold so long, talking about the
No, no,
phenomenal
no.
things that you've done. I'm always impressed, as you know, since the first day we met
Mm,
at MBNA, at a conference in MBNA, your first,
yeah,
maybe I think it was your first. Um,
yes, that
and
was
I've
like about like 13 years ago.
Oh, yes, quite some time. But you've always impressed me, and
Uh,
always I found you to be committed to who you are in spite of whatever's going around you. So thank you for coming on tonight and talking about this topic. Uh,
li-
like I said, I'll be
Listen, well,
honest.
this is something I'm extremely passionate about. I truly appreciate the opportunity to really speak about this topic. Really.
Right. Well, hopefully you heard, like I said, I was, what prompted this in my head was I saw the fact that you all, NBNA, had recently put out a memo about this particular issue. And I know that you serve in a very important role. And I was just like, wow, let me get my brother on the show. Let's talk about this issue. Let's talk about this topic. So thank you for taking a stance, you and Dr. Martha Dawson, who is the president of MBNA, and saying, hey, we got to do something.
Yes, I want to give a shout out to the committee because we have a an ad hoc committee on substance use disorders where we all came together and we said, okay, well, as an organization, we cannot stay silent.
Right.
And I called on to the president, and she agreed that yeah, we needed to put out a memo and trying to energize our nurses to take a stand because this is going to really affect our families and our kids, our friends, and we cannot stay silent.
Right, right. And that's the bigger part of it is taking your platform, taking your influence, and being unafraid to take a stance.
That's right.
Because so many people, organizations, associations choose not to take a stance because of the fear of being too controversial,
Mhm.
which is why over time I've kind of slowly backed away from associations. They could do whatever they want to do with other people's money, but they won't be getting my dues and fees. Uh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
another show. That's another show.
yeah.
Luckily, this is my show,
A
right?
long one.
So why did this become such a passionate topic for you? And tell us about, like, I mean, I'll be honest. Um, for my lack of knowledge, I only learned a few weeks ago about the process that happens,
Mhm,
about the spark and all of that other stuff that's created. And I've
mhm,
seen maybe a few, like, one guy got his pocket caught on fire. He was close to a TV with an
mhm,
e-cigarette or a vape.
mhm,
But like,
mhm.
why did you choose this? Talk to me.
Well, actually, I became a certified tobacco treatment specialist in 2012, and I have helped a lot of people quit smoking, and I run a very successful a tobacco treatment program in Atlantic City, and also I run a free tobacco or a smoking cessation program in Pleasantville, right here at the pharmacy at Reverend's Discount Pharmacy. And I, I, when I started working as a nurse, I had a patient who was uh, on oxygen, and this guy had an oxygen tank. He was dragging that oxygen tank behind him in the winter. It was around like February. Uh, it was cold out there, yet he was dragging his oxygen tank to go outside to smoke a cigarette. And I said, something is wrong with this picture
Right.
and we have to do something. And unfortunately, we know, with a lot of the doctors, they don't have enough time to sit down to really educate the patients about the danger of smoking and to coach them to quit smoking. So that's where I come in.
Right.
And I said, we can make a difference by really go beyond, I would say even beyond the call of duty to really
Right.
coach the patients to quit smoking. And now with the vaping, of course, with all the research I've done, and I say with vaping, and I mean the kids are using this thing like candy. I mean they are using e-cigarette like water. And I was like, we have to let people know what's going on with these products.
Right.
And they think it's a toy, but actually this is extremely dangerous.
Right.
So that's why at the university at Stockton last year I proposed a general education course because I feel that a lot of the healthcare professionals are not fully aware of what's going on and are not really seeing the real problem
Right.
in smoking and electronic cigarette. So I proposed the course, the university embraced it, and currently I have is a class full of students learning about smoking electronic cigarettes. So I believe this is how I can make a real difference by helping the healthcare professionals to know exactly what's going on. And right now we have that class going on. Plus, we are working on a program to help students who vape to quit vaping because it's easier to tell people, well, you can't smoke, you can't vape here. It's our policy.
Right.
But we need to go beyond the policy, but to really coach people
Right.
because it's we know it's an addiction and people need real help to quit smoking and to quit vaping, and that's where we come in.
It's a really interesting thing. I'm not gonna lie. I own what happened. I used to be a smoker,
Hmm.
and I
Hmm.
part of me was at first when I first heard it was like, this is a crazy teenage thing. I started smoking when I was in undergrad. My cousin, who was the chair of my department, she was a smoker and she smoked clove cigarettes, and I
Hmm.
picked it up because I thought it was so cool. Here she is, doctor, blah 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 with all these things at the names, and she smokes, so she must be smart, and
Oh,
I should
that's
smoke. Uh, Needless to say, I got a sinus infection maybe about 5 years later after smoking and spending lots of money for clove cigarettes, and that was enough for me to quit cold turkey.
I'm
Uh,
glad you did.
but part of me with first was saying this is just a crazy teenage thing. It's a phase of life. It's an experimentation thing. But the bigger part of this sounds like is what's actually happening. I'm going to bring up the PowerPoint that you're talking that you sent me over, and you can talk us through kind of like about cigarettes and everything like that. Let's bring it up. So
Thank
it's
you.
going to be over me. I don't mind.
Great. Okay. Okay. Let's.
Hopefully you should see it. So yeah,
Uh,
that's like the first slide.
I. Yeah, okay, I don't see it.
Let's see. Sometimes there's a little bit of a delay,
A
uh,
delay. Okay.
so it should be live over me. Maybe I'm trying to resize it too so that it's bigger. Especially since sometimes people are watching this on their cell phone and different stuff like
Yeah.
that. Come on, get larger. Scaling. It says max size. Okay, there we go. Can you see it now, or is it on your
No, I
screen?
can't.
Okay.
No, I can't see it, but I can bring it on
Uh huh.
and on another screen,
Okay.
and then we can, you can show your screen and
Yeah. So people
and
see it on my
we'll advance it.
screen.
Yes. So yeah, uh, the you mentioned something that's very interesting when you talk about uh, the a family member who was a doctor and was vaping. Actually, that's one thing that a lot of the big companies took advantage of, and that caused a lot of people to start smoking and find themselves in trouble. Yeah. So okay, it's taking a minute to load on my computer as well.
You
We know
know
how that works.
what so I'll fast forward and then we could go back because one of the most interesting slides was that vaping crisis death toll that you sent
Yes.
over to me that I now have up on this screen.
Yeah. So actually, uh, the most recently, uh, and people started having i- issues with the electronic cigarettes, and right now we have about like eight people who died. Um, like you have those states like Oregon, we have two in California, we have one in Minnesota, Illinois, Kansas, Missouri, and Indiana. So there are okay. So now this is what we know thus far as the death toll. Now, I was reading where they talk about some of those people who are affected. Now, I mean, this is those who died from the product,
Right.
but there are a lot of people who are affected, like over 600 people are affected with electronic cigarette. And when they do a CAT scan to look at the lungs of some of those individuals, there are a young adults who are in their like 30s, and when you look at their CAT scan, their lungs looks like a 75-year-old smoker.
Wow.
So those products really, I mean, all the flavoring, and there are people who are using a lot of harsh oil, and they damage the lungs.
Right.
And it's easier for the companies to say, oh, these are like a healthy things. I mean, they are healthy for you, and and
Right.
they are food products. Yeah, okay.
Right.
I mean, because you eat food all the time, I
Right.
mean, you can use it, you'll be fine. But people have to recognize that, yeah, food belongs to your stomach. You have all the acids in your stomach, okay, to break down all of this stuff. But in your lungs, okay, I mean, these things don't belong to your lungs. And when they get to your lungs, they damage it.
Right. Right, and what you said like really rings so true for me because I remember my cousin.
Mhm.
Shouts out to my cousin. Over about a year ago, she was like, "Oh, Wes, you are a psychologist," and she was smoking cigarettes at the time. I'm gonna be vaping. Do you think that's okay? I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds much better than smoking a cigarette." Hello. It was so little information about what vaping and
That's right.
e-cigarettes was, and
That's right.
now it's kind of like it's grown into like this phenomena. I want you, so you can talk through, I guess, which slide would you like for me to go to?
Um,
Talk to me.
okay, so look at the first slide, for
First
example.
slide. Okay.
So yeah, so that shows you, some of the things that are in a cigarette, because as we talk to people about electronic cigarette, we want to really educate them about what's in a cigarette. Now, I have a lot of healthcare providers who really don't know, like, the number of chemicals that are in a regular cigarette. So you have
Right.
about like 7,000 chemicals in a cigarette. So, of course, when you hold a cigarette, it doesn't have all these chemicals. But when you light the cigarette, you have all those chemical reactions that take place, and boom, you are all those chemicals you are absorbing into your body.
Right.
And 70 of them are known to cause cancer. Okay. 70 of them are known to cause cancer.
Right.
Sometimes I have patients, who tell me, okay, well, they don't want to take certain medications because they are concerned about the side effect,
Right.
the interactions
Right.
between
Right.
other medications. But, that's when I'm real with them. I tell them, I truly understand you, but do you know how many chemicals you are currently getting from all those cigarettes you are smoking? So, yeah, so it's a lot,
Right.
you know.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot. So if you move to the next slide, you can see uh, where the epidemic really begins in 2017. You can see around like 2011, where you had about 1.5% of the high school students who were smoking, right?
Right.
And but now, if you look at the blue graph, you can see where regular cigarette was. Okay, so now we are doing really good with regular cigarette.
Right.
Now, I
Right.
don't want to say we are doing really good with smoking, because a lot of people would look at this, would say, "Oh, we are doing really good with smoking. Look, okay, smoking is down."
Right.
Yes, but uh, you have vaping is up. A lot of people who are vaping are not considering themselves as being smokers. Okay, so you can see how, okay, in 2017, where we were, okay, you had like about 11.7% of high school students vape, and then boom, in 2018, it moved to like 20, over 20, almost 21%.
Right. Right.
Okay,
And
so
that's
mhm,
a lot of things fall into that. I can go right up to my corner bodega here in New York City and
mhm.
purchase a vape or the insert
That's
of the
right.
cartridge, and nobody even asked me for ID.
It,
Uh,
that,
I
that's
mean,
that's that's the problem.
granted,
That's
I
the
look old
problem.
as shit, but go ahead. I digress.
Yeah. So that's really a problem. So that's where we are, and you can see like in 2019, it's even going
Right.
higher.
Right.
Okay. So there was a study. If you move to the next slide, there was a study in 2018 where they look at what are the students, um, the high school students, what are they using, or okay, what do they report actually they are using.
Right.
Okay, you can see that, okay, about like 21% of them reported using electronic cigarette. You have like 8% just regular cigarette, and you have like all different types of tobacco product. So they are using this stuff. But what really struck me uh, is the the amount of nicotine those students are getting. Now, um, you know, when you look at the brain is not fully developed until you are, in the 20s. Okay, so getting all these chemicals, especially a chemical like nicotine into the brain, we are creating a newer generation
Mm.
of of addicted people. I'm
Right.
not I want to be sensitive as I said that,
Of course.
but we are yeah we are creating a newer generation of people who will be having much more problem
Mm.
with addiction. Right now, we are in an opioid crisis, and having these
Yes.
kids
Yes.
starting so early,
Mm-hmm.
uh, you know, where I mean, there will not be any room for us to move
Right.
if we don't stop that. So if you move to the next slide, you will see, uh, uh, okay, it, those students who say they used any type of electronic cigarettes. So you
Mm.
see,
Mm.
even like the eighth graders, okay, about almost 18% of eighth graders are using this product, and 10th graders like 32%, and like 12th graders like 37%.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And the other side, you see, what are they putting into those what are they adding, of all the juices, out there? What are they really added? Uh, some of them just add flavoring,
Mm-hmm.
and some of them are using marijuana and like harsh oil.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
well, I mean, the lungs is not conditioned to be, to to handle these harsh chemicals.
Exactly.
Okay, and that's what we need to let parents know, because actually one parent told me last year, I went to a high school,
Mm.
to a local high school, where I did a workshop for
Mm-hmm.
for all the teachers, because those students are using all those like jewels, and they have no idea what they are. I
Right.
wanted to bring awareness to let them know exactly what these things look like, so that they can be in the lookout. And one parent told me, oh, well, actually my daughter, who is 16, tells me this is exactly what she needs for Christmas. Okay, it's
Wow.
okay, an electronic cigarette and
Exactly.
with a bunch of juice. Okay, so and she was like, well, I mean, she's been using some in the house, but I mean, it smells really good. I said, okay, well,
Mm.
this is where they really get you. Yeah,
Yes.
actually, if you move to the next slide, Wes, you will see, if you look at those products, the first thing that comes to mind is health.
Right. Right.
Okay, I mean, you see all those fruits. Okay, I mean, very colored, and so
Exactly.
that's what comes to mind. You think, okay, well, I mean, this must be healthy, and you smell them. They smell like the real fruits.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but unfortunately, this is how they get us. This is how they are
Right.
getting our friends and our children. They
And our
are
partners.
over our
My
partners.
partner was
Yes.
vaping. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. So you have like over 400 flavors out there.
Mm-hmm.
So really, you can just think about something, you can find it
Right.
as a flavor.
Right.
So you have all these flavors out there, and kids are just like adding them and inhaling them,
Mm-hmm.
and causing a lot of the damages.
Mm. I'll
Yeah.
be honest, like some of the first things that pop up in my mind is like the whole crystal meth epidemic and how many
Hmm.
different things that they put into making crystal meth or tina, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And when I look at this on the right hand side, I'm like, oh wow, that looks like some of the pictures when crystal meth was really really problematic. It still is. Uh,
Exactly.
and
Still
now
still is.
people are smoking it basically.
People are smoking it. Yeah, and it's a problem, and we need to. I mean, that's where NBNA comes in, and with the substance use committee. Okay, we have to let our nurses know that, I mean, this is not a game, and
Right.
and 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 it's really serious. And now that we have our first lady, behind it, I know that now it's getting way more attention, but we need to help the nurses. I mean, we know. well that nurses, we are the most trusted profession
Yes.
for so many years.
Hmm.
We only lost 1 year in 2001.
Hmm.
And of course, the firefighter is they got it.
Deserved.
It was
Well
well
deserved
deserved.
after 9
Okay,
11.
very well deserved. But so because people already trust us,
Hmm.
we are in a position to really educate our legislators
Right.
and go to our schools,
Hmm.
the school where our kids or our friends or our whoever, wherever we can access the youth,
Right.
and to let them know this is not a as friendly
Hmm.
as it
Hmm.
looks, you know yeah. So if you move to the next one now with a Jules, uh, one thing that a lot of people are asking, okay, well, with the regular cigarette, I mean, how much how much nicotine do you get from the cigarette? So really, on average, people can get about like 2 to 4 milligram of nicotine from a regular cigarette,
Hmm.
depending on how you smoke it. But
Oops.
with Jules, okay, one pad. Okay, one pod delivers the same amount of nicotine as 20 cigarettes.
Wow.
Just one pod.
Wow.
And there are people who have like smoking like a 3 to 5 a day.
On the regular. Right. Right.
Only,
Right.
yeah. So they are getting a lot of nicotine, and we know some of the effects of nicotine.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
so eh, eh, this is really really serious. And now there are a lot of people who are calling like the poison control centers because of I mean a overdose on
Hmm.
electronic on electronic cigarette,
Wow.
on vaping. And that little chart there shows you how much we grow
Hmm.
with the calls over the years. In 2011 you had only 269 calls, and it started growing and growing and growing. As of the end of August,
Mm.
okay, we are nearly 3,000 calls.
Hmm.
Okay, so that one good thing is that the fact that people are recognizing there is a problem and they are calling trying to get help. So that's really
Right.
wonderful.
Right.
But I mean, this is a real business, and we can't just like sit down and look.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Wow. I'm
now, uh,
speechless.
the other thing, I had a presentation recently to a group. I was uh, really teaching them on some of the things to look for,
Hmm.
and we started talking about how the how these products are being marketed
Right.
to young children. You just said that, okay, well, you can go to a shop there and they don't even ask you for ID. Okay.
Yes.
So actually, they say anyone who could be like 27 years old
Hmm.
or younger, to ask them for ID. So pretty much, if I would go and ask, to purchase something, maybe they wouldn't ask me for ID because I look way
Right.
more than 27
Right.
actually. But 21, okay, like in New Jersey, okay, you are not supposed to be able to purchase a vapor or electronic cigarette,
Hmm.
or even cigarette, if you are less than 21. But if you move to the next slide,
Okay.
Wes, you will see now. Look at that Carmel
Wow.
advertisement. That was in 1931. Okay, now do you see anything similar there? Okay,
There's a lot of similar there.
okay, a lot of similarities. Now, okay, well, this is what doctors used to look like, okay, back in the day. Now, okay, smoke a fresh cigarette, for example. That was an ad in 1931.
Right.
But okay, and look at the one to the right. That was in 1945. More doctors. smoke Camels than any other cigarettes. More doctors, and that's how they get.
Right.
A lot of people started smoking. Actually, there was one that said, as your dentist, I recommend you to use this type of cigarette.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Now, those tactics worked very well for the tobacco companies.
Mm-hmm.
They are using those same tactics
For
to
vaping.
get people to
Right.
vape.
Right.
Look at this one in 2014.
Right.
Okay, now look at they use that same picture of that same doctor in
Nice and
1931.
rosy and pink and healthy
Exactly,
looking. I
healthy
want to be
looking.
him.
Okay, that, exactly. More doctors vape
Mm,
than I mean, most doctors vape than use traditional cigarettes.
right.
So, okay, well, you say, okay, well, if the doctors are doing it, I mean, yeah, it must, I mean, they
Must
study, I
be
mean, it
okay.
must be good for you. And the doctors are recommending it, it must be good for you, you know? Excuse me. So, these are some of the very successful strategies they used in the past,
Mm-hmm.
and they continue to use them. If you move to the next one, this,
I'm gonna like preface this one because this one has me like really shook. By the way,
oh
this
my
as a
God,
marketing is
this made me
atrocious, but
sick.
I'm going there.
This made me sick, really.
So I got it up.
Okay, this really made me sick. Now, look at okay, 1951. Okay, look at these little kids. I mean, they look so cute, right?
Right.
Okay, 1950, 1950. That's when okay that a commercial went out for Marlboro.
Hmm.
Okay, you see that little boy said, "Oh, gee, Dad, you always get the, you always get the best of everything, even Marlboro." Okay,
Right.
so okay. Gee, mommy, you sure enjoy your Malibu. And now look at this.
Right.
In 2014, okay, now, okay, Vita Vape. I mean, look at that. Oh no, actually, sorry, a Vita Vape. Okay,
Hmm.
look at this. A vitamin. Okay, we are telling people they need to get their vitamins. Okay,
Right.
so the Vita Vape. Okay, well, you can just like inhale your vitamins. Okay,
Exactly.
so they have this thing out there
Exactly.
to introduce their kids,
Mm.
okay, to this product so early. Okay,
Right.
my first vape pen, okay, my first vape pen. I mean, uh,
Wow. Yeah.
I'm really speechless. Okay, my first vape. So they want like kids to start playing with these things
Exactly.
really early. And a lot of people, if they are not careful, of course, they will just, go ahead
Of
and
course.
buy that toy for their kids. And okay, actually, that little one here at the bottom, okay, it's like you can start using this at 9 months. Okay, it's for kids 9 months and older. It's like,
Wow.
really, are you kidding me? So,
Wow.
so if we do not really talk about these things to help people to see the real problem,
Right.
uh, um, West, I, I mean, something is lacking, you know?
Our knowledge, really, the bigger part is our knowledge of this, is the bigger
Yeah,
part that's lacking because we don't know. When you don't know, you kind of just
exactly.
like, oh, yeah,
With
go ahead, vape. You'll be okay.
exactly, exactly. Yeah, and actually, even with those people who died, some of the major complaints, and we want to make sure the nurses, if you go look at the document, NBNA put out, it lists out a number of complaints, a number of signs and symptoms that
Hmm.
if anyone recognize them, you need to make sure that you get to a doctor right away.
Okay.
Actually, for some of them, we even tell people, okay, even just go to the emergency room because actually going to the emergency room is one thing that we don't like to tell people to do because we know what it costs. However, with this vaping epidemic right now, if you are having if you are a vapor, okay, if you've been using electronic cigarettes and you've been using these harsh oils and you started losing weight or you having a lot of shortness of breath, you're feeling tired for no real reasons,
Right.
uh, or you coughing a lot, okay, and it looks like you having a cold. So we recommend that people go ahead and seek help because these are some of the symptoms people come up with.
Exactly.
Actually, some of them, the symptoms can come like very quickly, and some of them it can be weeks before they develop. So we want people to go ahead and get help
Yes.
as soon as possible.
Right. Your next
Okay.
slide is really telling, by the way, with the uh,
Yes, actually, this is what happened with the popcorn lungs. So
wow.
this is what's happening, popcorn lungs. So now the idea of popcorn lungs, so that comes in. Actually, the real term is bronchiolitis obliterans. Okay, but uh, you had a group of people who were working in a popcorn factory, and these people started to have a lot of respiratory issues with shortness of breath and so on and so forth. And
Right.
when they did CAT scan, they find their lungs to look like popcorns. Actually, not as juicy as this one, but
I didn't think
but to
so.
yeah. So basically, their lungs, collapse. Like the real emphysema type. When those people never smoke, and they find out is because they really uh, they didn't use masks, on a regular basis, and they inhale the buttery flavor they use for popcorns. So that's how they develop popcorn lungs. And this is exactly what's happening with the use of electronic cigarettes. So these people are getting all these chemicals in their lungs, all these food products into their lungs, and they are developing this.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
This is like, I mean, we're almost out of time. Dr.
yeah,
Ruffin, thank you, thank you. This has been a very eye-opening, just a very eye-opening information because I am
hmm
completely floored. I mean, we knew all of this information. There's Surgeon General warnings about
that's
cigarettes,
right.
and
Yeah.
cigarettes cost. Let's be honest, cigarettes cost 18 bucks a pack here in
hmm
New York City.
hmm
I think you can get these
It,
things, these vape pens, for what, $3, $4?
wow, wow.
They're
So
very
that's why people,
inexpensive.
that's where people, are going.
Right. And you can get
Yeah,
20 cigarettes in one of those things. You got a
that's
deal,
right.
basically. You're getting
You
a
got it.
deal. You're getting a deal. A bad
Oh,
deal, but you're getting a deal.
yeah, that's the reality. But
Right.
we
Right.
really want people to, okay, please get some help. Okay,
Right.
if anyone, if your families, your friends, if they are using these products, send them to their primary care doctor to try to get some help. Now, it's easier to tell people to you need to stop smoking, but the reality, people need help to quit smoking. Okay,
Right.
so there are FDA approved products out there to help people quit smoking.
Right.
Okay, so and they also are effective to help people quit vaping.
Wow,
Yeah,
already. That's the
exactly.
crazy part. That this is still a new phenomena, and it's
It
already
is.
growing to exponential proportions. Well, I'm going to bring up also the recent memo that you
hmm
guys put out. It's on
hmm
my side of the screen.
hmm
Thank you guys so much for, like I said, I can't say enough how much it means to put out the recent memo that you guys put out on vaping and e-cigarette use, threat to
hmm
American health, a call to action from the National Black Nurses Association ad hoc
Yes.
committee on substance use disorder. It is incredibly timely and incredibly necessary. So it
Yeah.
means a lot. It means a lot. It means an incredible lot to see you guys taking action on this. I can only imagine the number of uh, minorities who utilize these products.
Yeah.
One,
Yeah.
because of the very cheap price. Two,
Yep.
because of just there's no stigma at this point attached to vaping. There is a stigma attaching to pulling out a cigarette and putting it in your mouth. They're like, oh, are you smoking? People will literally get offended if they see you smoking a cigarette. I've seen people walking down the street actually, and a woman stop a complete stranger and she's like, put that cigarette out. But I've never seen somebody do that to somebody who's vaping or
Maybe
using
no, no.
e-cigarette.
Well, I mean, now it becomes such you know, a a luxury
Mm-hmm.
basically. I mean, it's much more beautiful. It smells good, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a real problem. And I really want to give a shout out to Dr. Dawson,
Mm-hmm.
the president of NBNA, and also the immediate past president, Dr. Eric Williams, who really started the committee,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and he put the committee together, with all the work we have done so far, and much more work needs to be done.
Right. Right.
But I think really the organization is on the right track.
Exactly. Well, we've run out of time. Again, thank you, thank you, thank you so much.
Oh,
Tell
my
people about
pleasure.
how they can reach you, where you at. Like I put up your Instagram, but I didn't take the time to put up all of the things. It was taking me a while. So tell people
Okay.
how they can reach you.
Yeah, yeah. People can reach me really the best way is via email. You can email me at a Larider R at yahoo.com. It's Larider at yahoo.com. That's the best way to reach me. Or you can find me on Facebook and my name, or on Twitter. It's just my name. You can find me that way as well.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, sir. I know you have the babies to put to bed in a few hours. Uh, thank you, thank you, thank you again. And I really
Dr.
appreciate
Willis,
you taking the time.
Dr. Willis, I truly appreciate the opportunity.
Right. Well, fantastic. Keep doing the amazing work, and I'll talk to you later.
All right, thank you.
All right, guys. Oh, here we go. So yeah, so this is like I said, an amazing issue that has finally got to come up and talk about. I got my computer screen up for some reason. Why do I have my computer screen up? Because I want to go to my camera. Anyways, so been a really, really, really amazing topic to talk about. Like I said, I was very ignorant to the information. And if I know I'm ignorant, there's a lot of other people who need to own that lack of knowledge. I hope that with this information that we'll take it and do something about it and help our loved ones if they're involved with like vaping or e-cigarettes, and at least tell them the dangers. At least let them know the risks that they are putting themselves at. Anyways, it's Sunday. Thank you for spending almost 50 minutes with me. Have an amazing, amazing week, beautiful people, and I hope to see you next Sunday. All right, take care, guys. Let's see. I like this music.